as an institution, started the process of pursuing the Kenya National Qualifications Authority accreditation in the year February 2021.
And now, for the main partner of the event today, the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, KNQA in short, was set up in 2015, as set out in the Kenya National Qualification Framework, Act number 22 of 2014, to help coordinate and harmonize the various levels of education and to create a database of all qualifications in the country.
This process involved rigorous vetting of the curricula and mapping of qualifications onto the Kenya National Qualifications Framework, the KNQF, to ensure they meet recommended standard of KNQF Level 5 and KNQF Level 6 qualifications. This was done through a series of workshops with the Kenya National Qualification Authority, accreditation officers, as well as site audits of the institution. Recommendations from these workshops and audits were also implemented by the institution to meet the required standards. Today, we are here to witness a great achievement.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the accreditation of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. And with that, we would like to welcome the Executive Director of International Center for Humanitarian Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Idris, to officially open the forum. Karibu.
Thank you. It looks like Benjamin has given me an introduction like I'm a musician. So I was expecting maybe the next stage will be also I say something like in Wenim Kono, no, Madam Chair and the CEO for the Kenya National Qualification Authority, the Governor of the Kenya Red Cross, the Chair of the Board of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Karibuni. My role is very simple, such that if I say Karibu, it will end, and I will have left it at that and still met the requirements. But I just want to make one comment on the importance of why we're here today, beyond just the accreditation. A few years ago, when the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute and the Kenya Red Cross as a whole decided to focus on training professionals for pre-hospital care, we noticed that there was a gap around being prepared for supporting people in cases of trauma around the country because of lack of appropriate training, lack of the skill sets, and lack of equipment for being able to manage these cases. And the Kenya Training Institute was one of the first investments by the Kenya Red Cross in a series of steps to be taken towards strengthening the emergency medical services in the country in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. So the event here is not just an event for the Kenya Red Cross. It marks a milestone for emergency medical services training as a whole in the country. And we're really fortunate to be part of this achievement as a society and as an institute. And so with us, very, very few remarks. I want to first thank you all for taking time to join us this morning. Karibuni. And we look forward to working with you more in the coming weeks and months to reach more people with this qualification. Asanteni sana and karibuni.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Idris. So with no further ado, we want to watch a short video entailing the journey of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute and the milestones that we have achieved. Over the years, since the Training Institute began in the year 2010, we have seen a tremendous growth. So this short video is a tribute to show what we have achieved. Thank you.
My name is Monica Overo. I am the principal of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute and also serving as the secretary to the board of directors.
My name is Nganga Simon from the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, one of the lecturers in academics.
Sani Kamano, a trainer and a coordinator of occupational health and safety programs at Kenya Red Cross Training Institute.
Hello, my name is Eric Menya. I'm the coordinator for research here at the Training Institute. It is a noble role, I would say. What I do basically is supervise students and oversee the supervision of student research. Any institution worth its salt must, of course, carry out research.
Hello and welcome. My name is Geoffrey Mwai. Geoffrey Mwai is a Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduate from the University of Nairobi, and also has a Master's in Public Health Epidemiology from Maseno University. Currently working with Kenya Red Cross as a trainer and also the head of academics.
My name is Benjamin Mwangi, an instructor with the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute.
My name is Maureen Mutange, the Business Development Lead at the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute.
My name is Magdalene Ondwer at Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. I work as Academic Programs and Examinations Officer, and we are very proud for the growth that we have seen at Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, and especially with the introduction of the competency-based education and training curriculum, which we rolled out in 2022, January.
The Kenya Red Cross Training Institute began its operation in 2010, being that the Kenya Red Cross Society saw the need and the gap that was there in response to emergency cases that continued to occur as they continued to respond. So the institution has been in existence to support the work of the Kenya Red Cross Society in humanitarian response within the regions of the country. The institution was registered in 2016 by the Technical Vocational Education Training Authority, TVETA, to offer 2 academic programs, the Certificate in Advanced Emergency Medical Technician and the Diploma in Paramedicine. These 2 programs have gone through a redesign of the curricula, which was approved by TVETA again in 2020, and now we have also gone through the process of being accredited by the Kenya National Qualification Authority, to which we will be accredited. Besides being that our practice is global practice, we are registered by the American Heart Association to support in training our graduates, but also support in training other medical personnel within the country. We are also registered by the National Association of the Emergency Medical Technicians and also American College of Surgeons. These certifications support our quest to see emergency medical care achieve its mandates to rescue lives within the shortest time possible. This year, we look forward to working with the Ministry of Health to find a platform for the EMTs and paramedics to practice. We are looking forward to the ministry registering our practice and finding a scheme of service so that we are able to support the medical care for the country, being that we are the medical personnel who are critical in response in times of the patient's need. So even as we get accredited today, we're looking forward to working with other stakeholders to realize this dream. Thank you.
So the examination office basically comes in to ensure that with the focus of CBET, which is what learners should be able to do at the end of their training, to ensure that the examination process prepares the learner for that. And in our examination process, we have both formative and summative assessments that students do. And these are both practical and theory. And because CBET is highly practical in nature, then we focus a lot on practical skills assessment during the units of competencies as well as in the final qualifying exams. So this is to ensure that our students then can be able to meet the objective of what they can be able to do by the time they graduate from the institute. In our examination process, we ensure that we meet the regulatory standards that we have in the education industry that are put for us by TVET. We ensure we have both internal and external assessors in our process. So they're involved right from the setting of the examinations during the units of competencies and the final qualifying examinations as well. We ensure we involve them during the moderation of these particular exams, during the marking process and the moderation of those marked results as well, before these particular results can be released to the students. So we will ensure that our examination process is at par as per the standard that is required, and that has played a part in ensuring that Kenya Red Cross Training Institute meets the standards required by both TVET and Kenya National Qualification Authority as well, hence the award we are receiving today.
One of the milestones that we have been able to achieve is the realization of the Student Council, which comes in handy. It is active and very vibrant, with a full office.
The attendance of the conference, the African Conference on Emergency Medicine, which was held in Accra, Ghana in November.
The Institute has seen tremendous growth in the past few years in terms of our reach to the target market. I'm encouraging you to join the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute because of the following reasons. We've been training for the past 40 years. We have experienced staff in the relevant fields. We are trusted all over the world by different governments, such as Guinea-Bissau, where some of our graduates are working, the United States of America, and we are accredited by different bodies, not only in Kenya, but also outside the country.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is just a snippet of the milestones, the growth that we have had as a training institution, but rest assured, we boast of a very robust pre-hospital care program, and when you meet our students out there, your lives are in great hands. So this is just the beginning, more is yet to come.
Thank you, Zainab. Let's appreciate the people who have done that video. Thank you very much. And with that, allow us to welcome the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute Board Assistant Chair, Mr. David Mwongela, to make his remarks. Karibu. Let's appreciate him, please, as he comes on stage. Thank you.
Hamjambo. Hamjambo? Yeah, okay, thank you. To Kenya National Quality and Accreditation, Dr. Alice Kante, Kenya National Quality and for Qualification, CPA Rosemary Jogu, Minister of Health, representatives, Dr. Huma Oluga, Director of Health Services, Nairobi County, TVETA CEO, Dr. Kipkurui Langat, KRCS Governor, Honorable Geoffrey Kipgetich, International Center for Humanitarian Affairs, HR Executive Director, Mr. Hamed Iris, KRCTI board members, and KRCTI principals, Ms. Monica Orero, all our visitors and staffs. Good afternoon. I think you bear with me, I have some colds. I've lost my voice, so just bear with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to thank you for honoring our invitation to attend our KNQA accreditation ceremony. We are here and we are much pleased to have you. It is true that the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute has continued to establish itself as the premier training center in the paramedicine and emergency medical services in the region. The leadership has firmly championed by excellence in its process and service delivery. The Training Institute has continued to make significant steps towards its vision of being a global leader in training on pre-hospital care and emergency medical services. Again, the Institute has been accredited by the Technical Vocational Education and Training Authorities to develop curricula in train, certify in diploma in paramedicine, and certificate in advanced emergency medical technician. It is also accredited by American Heart Association, HA, National Association of the EMTs, American College of Surgeons, National Industrial Training Authority, that is NITA, and the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services, DOSH, and among others. In view of this, ladies and gentlemen, the Institute continues to bridge the gap of lack of qualified EMS practitioners in identifying the emergency medical care policy 2020 to 2030 through quality training and quality response. The Institute again complements the government of Kenya in achieving its universal health agenda for 2017 to 2022. Again, the Institute continues to partner with various health facilities, universities, both locally, internationally, non-governmental agencies, government agencies, parastatals, individual organizations in training and in response. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate a KRCTI for another milestone. The accreditation by the Kenya National Qualification Authority is a milestone above greater heights. This comes at a time when there are plans to expand the institution to other regions. We will be pursuing key partnerships with universities like Israel, UK, US, and the Middle East for student certification of exchange of these programs. We therefore thank all the officials from TVETA, the Kenya National Qualification Authority, who have worked with us through this journey to ensure that we have fulfilled all the requirements of these accreditations. With these accreditations, we look forward to working with the Ministry of Health to achieve the dream of recognitions of EMTs and paramedics and the establish of a scheme of service for the practitioners. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, these milestones have been possible because of the dedicated staffs of the Institute and the board members. I also thank the entire Kenya Red Cross Society management and the Governor Geoffrey KRCTI, the Secretary General Dr. Hashim Mohamed, as well as the leadership of the International Center of Humanitarian Affairs and the Executive Director, Mr. Hamed Harris, for the support and the guidance given to the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. May God bless you, all of you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm being requested to invite the governor. So please, can we invite the governor with a cloud of clap? Karibu. Asante.
Good morning, all. Good morning once again. The chair, Kenya National KNQA, CPROs Njogu, the CEO, Dr. Alice Kande, the Ministry of Health representative, Dr. Uma Oluga, who is the Director of Health Services, Nairobi County, TVETA CEO, Dr. Kipkurui Langat, International Center for Humanitarian Affairs Executive Director, Mr. Hamed Idris, KRCTI board members, KRCTI Principal, Ms. Monica Orero, all our visitors and staff, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon. I want to join everyone else in celebrating this great achievement. We can only imagine the amount of energy and hard work that has gone into realizing this dream. I also want to appreciate the management of Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, the lecturers and instructors and other staff who have worked tirelessly leading to this accreditation. Since its registration in 2010 and accreditation in 2016 by the Technical and Vocational and Educational Training Authority, TVETA, as a technical vocational education training center to offer diploma in paramedicine and certificate in advanced emergency medical technician, the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute continues to achieve its overall objective of fortifying pre-hospital care as per the Kenya Emergency Medical Care Policy and Strategy of 2020-2030. With this accreditation, we'll expand the scope of our partnership and ensure the world gets more trainees of highly qualified paramedics and EMTs. Receiving this accreditation cements further KRCTI's credibility in training responders to enrich the Red Cross movement in humanitarian work and expand capability in emergency response. Already, the importance of our trained paramedics and EMTs has been seen and felt in various emergencies. Most of our staff and volunteers have also been trained and have become fast responders in almost all emergencies that have happened in this country. This accreditation leaves no doubt regarding the quality of our institution to anyone willing to pursue paramedicine and emergency medical technician training. It further proves to organizations and other health facilities throughout the world that our institution produces qualified personnel. I would like to thank all the bodies that have accredited the institution: TIVETA, KNQA, AHA, NAEMT, KMPDU, DOSH, NITA, and also thank various government ministries like Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education for believing in Kenya Red Cross KRCTI. Because of such recognition, more learners will join others who graduated early on and have been absorbed in various countries throughout the world, including Canada, the USA, UAE, Guinea-Bissau, Ethiopia, and other African countries. Such steps are also confirmation that KRCTI is contributing to the efforts of Kenya Red Cross Society in its auxiliary role to the government. To support efforts to build capacity in disaster preparedness and emergency response throughout the 47 counties, we aim to partner with more organizations to ensure that there is high quality in paramedicine and emergency medical technician programs. Indeed, the entire Kenya Red Cross Society is proud of the training institute. And I think it really shows the effort that have been put by many people. And we want to thank the KRCTI for at least believing and trusting on the principle of hard work. To be where they are today, I think they've put in more effort. And I think going forward, as an organization, we are looking forward to have more centers across the country. And we hope after this now, maybe within the next 2 or 3 years, we will be able to discuss at the National Executive Committee and see, since now the Institute has proven that it can do some good work. We will have more discussion with other partners so that maybe in the coming years, we can have also other centers within our 8 regions so that it can be able to support this training. With those few remarks, I want to say hongera sana to the Institute and thanks for our various partners for at least ensuring and seeing that at least they deserve to be accredited at this stage, at this level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daktari, our Honorable Governor. Let's appreciate him better.
To clarify, I have been given to be Daktari, but for record, I am not a Daktari, but those are good prayers. Maybe in due course,
Amen.
I'll be a Daktari.
Thank you very much. Those are good prayers, and we wish him all the best in that area. So we appreciate him better. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you for all speakers who have given us their wise words of wisdom. And with that, we also want to welcome the next speaker from TIVETA, or Technical and Vocational Education Training Authority, the office of the CEO. But we have a representative who will represent him, and that is Mr. Alfred Mwanzi. Mr. Alfred Mwanzi, tafadhali karibu. Welcome on stage. Let's appreciate him as he comes on stage. I think we can do better. Kindly, let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Through the chair, KNQA, CEO KNQA, the board chair, the Kenya Red Cross Institute, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Yes, my name is Alfred Mwanzia. I'm representing the Director General, TIVETA Authority. And I want to start by thanking the Kenya Red Cross for the journey that we started together. And today we are seeing a culmination of now moving that journey which we started of developing a training program to making it an international recognized qualification because that is now what we are here for. I want to start by saying that TVET Authority is a regulator of training in Kenya, and in regulating training, we do develop standards and guidelines which guide on how you develop your curriculum to meet the required standards as stipulated by the KRCTI standards. Because remember, the program must lead to a qualification in which you meet the requirement of KRCTI. So the TVET standards are supposed to be like KRCTI so that we produce what KRCTI is looking for. We do have standards also which make us develop those standards that again, we approve the curriculum that the institution developed. It is out of this that we were able to look at the curricula of Kenya Red Cross. Kenya Red Cross through the Kenya Red Cross Act. Section 5(1)(f) is allowed by law to train and award qualification, and it is out of that section that they allowed to train and award qualification that the TVET Authority was able to look at their curriculum for purpose of approving for training and at the same time for purpose of awarding. And if you do remember that wherever TVET Authority approves a program, we actually call it a training program. It is for purpose of training. But at the end of training, the output of training is a qualification, and that qualification must also be registered by the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. And it is in this line that once we approve a training program, we give you a letter to tell you now that your program has met the requirements of the TVET Authority as per the resolution of the TVET Authority Board and the requirement of KRCTI, because the standards, they speak to each other. You may now proceed to KRCTI for registration of this as a qualification in Kenya and by extension as an international qualification. It is out of that TVETA was able to look at the program and approve the program as a training institution, and we later came to the institution and we licensed. Once we approve our training program, we now go a step further, what we call licensing our program. And licensing our program is now allowing you now to train that program and award. So ladies and gentlemen, it is out of that today we are here. Today we are not here actually for accreditation, because for KRCTI to come here, it must have looked at your documentation. Today we are here to receive the certificate. It's a graduation. It is not accreditation, a graduation, because already accreditation has been carried out by KRCTI as per their regulation, and now they are here to graduate you and award you with that certificate, which will now allow you to continue your awarding. TVETA gave you a certificate to continue training. TVETA will be coming very often to look at whether you are training the way we actually told you to be training, and even when you are going to do assessment, you still come to see whether are you still awarding qualification in line with the TVETA and KRCTI standards, so that the qualifications may then to be of international standards. So we are friends forever, because the Act allows us to do that. Again, and it's out of that we thought is very important. We are very happy to work together with you and our sister institution, KRCTI, to now make sure that Kenya receives the service that it requires and make Kenya cross-training institution international. You are saying it's not only for Kenya, but for also international certification. We are very proud to be associated with you in that endeavor, and for that, the TVET Authority is very happy with you and wishes that you abide by the standard regulations set out by the TVETA board. Otherwise, with those very many remarks, I know very often we normally say very few, but I want to say with those very many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you thanks a lot, and I also want to wish you the best as we work together. We will not wish you the best work as you walk ahead, we will wish you the best as we work together. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alfred. I believe we can give a very strong clap. Thank you. So at this juncture, we were to have the Nairobi City County Government, the Director of Health Services, Dr. Uma Oluga, but due to a conflicting meeting, he has not been able to make it, but he passes his regards. So allow me to welcome from the Ministry of Health, Mr. Peter Ongubo, who's the representative, to give us a few words.
the Chair, Kenya National Qualification Authority, and the CEO, the Governor, KRC, all dignitaries and protocols observed, good afternoon. My name is Peter Ongubu from the Ministry of Health. Specifically, I come from the Division of Health, Emergency and Disaster Risk Management, where most of what is being talked here, they need to operate from. Actually, the Ministry of Health has had very many steps that, the steps that have been taken place. We've had the policy and strategy launched, which is now being implemented. And the key pillar in this is the emergency in healthcare and also human resource. And here we are talking about human resource that KNQA has already accredited, and we're looking forward to having a good human resource, because health emergencies happen everywhere and in each and every day. The only way we can be able to help our populace to live happily or in response in terms of emergency is by having staff who are qualified, who have been trained well to be able to lead in this process. The Ministry of Health also, in the last government, had gazetted the steering committee, which is supposed to help implement the policy, because the policy in itself is a booklet, which there are many things in that policy that need to be implemented. And that steering committee is at high level, trying to be able to implement the policy, and it's doing so. I know we do not have the cadre EMT in the Ministry of Health that the Ministry of Health is able to employ. But I've seen some counties have been able to employ the AMTs, maybe by using some coding. But from the Ministry of Health, actually, we recognize the EMTs, and there are processes that have taken place to be able to ask the Ministry of Public Service to give them a code so that we can be able to employ. So that in the next maybe a few months, we will have had that, so that the EMTs who have been trained can be employed at the ministry level. Okay? So we're looking forward to having this staff recognized, so that also, you see, we can develop a scheme of service if the cadre is not there. So by so doing, once they are recognized, also the scheme of service, that will give them the scope, because in the Ministry of Health, each and every cadre have their schemes of service. So we're also going to develop schemes of services for this cadre that will be employed, so they can be able to use it to for their career progression, and also maybe moving job groups. So we're looking forward to partner with you. As always, we've been partnering with the Kenya Red Cross and the other partners, and even the counties that we've worked with. We're looking forward to partner still and make sure that this has happened in the shortest time possible, so that also your staff will be having something to hold on to. Because I, as from the profession I am in, I have a scheme of service, and I'm able to be employed anywhere. Because I know, like in the US, EMTs, I think, are in the transport ministry, or areas in the transport. But in Kenya, we're recognizing them through the Ministry of Health. So we're looking forward to having this qualified staff get recognized with us, and then we move forward. My boss had other conflicting meetings. They could have loved to be here, but received the greetings, and we look forward to working more collaboratively in the future from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. So there is a club that we call lightning. And in Swahili it's known as kalightening. Do you know that club? Yes? It's known as lightning, but in Swahili, kalightening. Let's try. One loud, bold clap. That was triceps. Let's do it now. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you. In that spirit, allow us also to welcome the KNQA CEO, Dr. Alice Kande, also to make her remarks. Karibu sana, let's appreciate her as she takes the stage. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, and good afternoon. I am very excited, super excited to be standing before you as I bring greetings from the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. I realize that is a long one. Some speakers preferred to shorten it to Kenya Qualifications. You can just say KNQA. Thank you. We are humbled to really be here this afternoon to celebrate with you for a milestone that really needs celebration. I know it's a journey that you have walked, and we are glad to be here as you add another feather to your cap to beautify what you have already beautified in impacting this country in the lives of many. Thank you so much for inviting us. My name is Alice Kande. I work for the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Currently, I'm the Acting Director General. And allow me to give salutations to very important guests who are here, distinguished. Let me begin with our very able chair of the Council of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Would you kindly appreciate her? A very kind and able lady, because with her oversighting role and the rest of the council, they have enabled us to walk with you to where you are today. Allow me also to salute the governor, the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Dr. Kipngetich Koreo, the chairperson of the board of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Mr. David Mwongela, the Secretary General, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Dr. Asha Mohammed, thank you. Deputy General and Director, International Center for Humanitarian Affairs, Mr. Idris Ahmed. The Director General and his representative, this is of TVETA, our very close institution we work very closely with. Mr. Is it Alfred? Yeah, thank you. Principal, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, and my very good friend, I've worked with her in other spaces, Madam Monica. Ministry of Health officials, partner hospitals, the staff of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, and my very good and able colleagues from the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Hamjaboni. Yes, it's a great fulfillment for me to witness the registration and accreditation of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute into the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. And we are saying that with no single doubt or hesitation, because for us, we are seeing you implementing something that has been so close to the heart of this country in the reforms that we have had for education and training, and the endeavor that we have had as a country to ensure that we have credible qualifications. And other than that, we have harmonized education and training in the country. And that is where KNQA comes in making sure that we progress that harmonization. We ensure the qualifications that we are getting from the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, they are credible and they are known not just to your very close stakeholders, but also globally. And so this is really a huge one for us to see that you're enabling the country to really achieve what we have set as a country. And so this institute's aim to strengthen pre-hospital care, which is an essential component of emergency health care in the Kenyan context, cannot be downplayed. We are aware of the role of the institute and the organization at large that have played in emergency health care and disaster management as a country. And every one of us here, I'm sure we've experienced time and again where you have come in on board and saved lives. And so we cannot really hesitate any second to really say and spell out how you have been critical. And so what then would hinder us from really making this visible? Because you are equipping people with the skill that is necessary, with the skill that is required. I would like to applaud the team from the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, and I also want to appreciate this amazing team. I heard you talk about KNQA as well, and how we have worked with you. Thank you for acknowledging that. But I want to say that we couldn't have done that without you, with your concurrence and agreeing to walk the journey with us. And so many thanks to our team, led by the head of a department called Registration and Accreditation. If you don't mind, you can stand. That is Mr. Jim Stegret. Thank you so much. This is the gentleman who leads that department. I'm sure you've seen him time and again. We have a team that he works with. Could you kindly stand? Yes, thank you, the KNQA team. Yes, we have Haron. Allow me to mention your names. You've done an amazing job as well. Haron is from ICT department. Rita Moza, registration and accreditation. Thank you. We have Ivy Coyne, registration and accreditation as well. Claire Barasa as well, the same department. We have Dennis Motethia, that is our legal person, also serves in the registration and accreditation. I also want to mention that we have a whole team also from KNQA. Tobias, can you also wave? Need to acknowledge your presence, you're here with us. We have Stephen Ore. We have Oma Wanzala. Thank you so much. We have a team that is hiding somewhere there. Thank you, Titus and David. And Shadrach, you're appreciated. This is a team that is here with us from KNQA. And we're glad that you have invited us, because we did not tire in working with you. Just like the way you did not relent in the journey when we began working with you. And of course, like my colleague from TVETA has said, this is not the end in itself. So now we want to see the fruits of this. So what does this accreditation then mean to this institution? How different will it be from, prior to you getting this accreditation? We want to see a difference in this. But of course, we are assuring you that we shall work together. And for us, we want to make sure that as we register those qualifications, as I previously said, we want to make sure that they are known and acknowledged as credible qualification. And their qualifications that will be visible to many. And in that case, it means that since they are qualifications that are required in the country, in our labor market, then we shall make good use of them. It means that those who possess them will be made known, and so they will make good use of the skill and the qualification that they have. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that KNQA is glad to have walked the journey of accreditation with Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, and the principal can attest to that. Though it has been a rigorous journey, we've seen a number of institutions that begin the journey and take a little longer than others because that rigor must be there. We want to make sure that we are meeting the requirements because we are speaking to quality of the qualifications. We are speaking to qualifications that we shall be proud of. Qualifications that if someone queries and sees what we have in our database of qualifications, even outside this country, they will be proud of what they will be happy with what they are saying. And we shall be happy of the qualifications that we are saying that we have. And so to enable uniformity and equality in the education and training sector, It is important that all institutions are registered and accredited by the relevant regulatory bodies and KNQA. And I want to thank you again because you've worked with TVETA. For us, we wouldn't have begun the journey with you if you had not really met what is required by TVETA. That is really a prerequisite for you to be able to be registered in the framework. It is important that we streamline education and training in this country. And as I earlier said, this is something that the country, we have envisaged since time immemorial, since the time even pre-independence. If you look at the papers that were written before, you would see so many of those sessional papers that spell out and speak to the need for relevant qualifications, for harmonized education and training, for equity and accessibility and quality of the education that we're getting. And this is what we are implementing today. And we are so happy when we see such like-minded stakeholders that we are working with, that we are having in this country to enable the government achieve what it has set. And so the learning outcomes, the notional hours, and the volume of learning of every qualification, there are critical criteria that we look at, because remember we're talking about harmonizing education and training. And so the team that has worked with our team from KNQA know those aspects that are so critical for us to consider, that are comparable. We say we're able to compare what this institution and that other institution is offering, and for any level of offer, for instance, if it's a diploma or if it is a certificate, very well articulated on what then is expected of that qualification. And thank you for embracing that and making sure that your qualification, that which we have registered, met that requirement. For example, we're saying that a student studying a diploma in social work at Kenya Red Cross Training Institute must have the same competence or demonstrate the learning outcome that is expected with another student from a different institution. Because we do not want to see certificates where we're saying this certificate, it seems to be of a higher value than the certificate at the same level for a different institution. Why should that be the case? We want to make sure that we're giving our students the best, everything that they deserve, because they cannot all fit in one institution. And so the institutions that have been mandated to train, assess, and award, then they must meet the requirements so that we are not shortchanging those students. We must ensure that in order for the education and training sector to really speak to what is expected of this country, then all stakeholders then have to play their bit. And as KNQA, we are upbeat that the stakeholders are very keen to work with us. We see Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. We see several other institutions, including regulators, that are working with us to ensure that we implement the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. And this is a framework, again, like I said, will work for all of us. We shall be proud when we say that, do you just want to check or to query the credibility of a certain certificate that was awarded by institution A in this year? You can be able to get it from a database that is in KNQA. That is what we are looking at implementing. And of course, we cannot implement that without you as a critical stakeholders. As a regulator in education and training sector, KNQA has the responsibility then to register and accredit training institutions into the framework, register learners, facilitate credit accumulation and transfer system, promote lifelong learning, that is through recognition of prior learning. That is another very dear program that we have as this country, because we are recognizing the masses that are in the labor market that are very well skilled. They have competence that we require, but possibly no one knows about them, or probably just a circle of those that they interact with know what they have. And so as a country, we're looking at implementing this recognition of that prior knowledge that one has, and to see what impact what difference it can create to the individual and as a country. But this is something that we shall pick up with Madam Principal and your team, just to see whether you would have any programs that can go through the recognition of prior learning, because that is a totally different process altogether in assessing and awarding. We also do facilitating, alignment and validation of qualifications that are awarded by foreign universities and qualification awarding bodies. And we do this because we are signatory to a number of international commitments that we have committed to, because it's saying we cannot operate in silo. We want our qualifications to be recognized out there. We want to enhance mobility of labor, and that cannot be enabled if our qualifications are not acceptable outside. And so we want to make sure that we align ourselves also internationally so that we promote portability as well of these qualifications and also mobility of labor as well. We know the advantages that we get when people are able to get jobs outside, and not just jobs, just, you know, because you have a certificate, and when you go to a country like Canada, since your qualification may not be recognized, you're given a job that is so different from what you would do in line with your certificate. You want to make sure that if you present a certificate anywhere in any country, it will be recognized at that level, because we're looking at aligning ourselves with those international commitments. I just want to mention that we're working very closely with a number of countries, first of all within the narrower East Africa context. We're also working within the IGAD region that comprises 8 countries. We're also working with countries within the continent itself. And all that is through development of qualifications framework. So for instance, for the continent, we have the Africa Continental Qualifications Framework, where we're able to compare qualifications across different countries. So if I present a diploma from Kenya, it will be placed at the requisite, at the right level when you take it to South Africa, to Tanzania, without being shortchanged or taken probably to a lower level. So we're looking at countries speaking to one another in terms of qualifications, and we're glad to note that your mandate actually goes beyond this country. And so that is also really important to you, so that you make sure that those students who go through your courses, those qualification certificates they get are really acceptable and regarded at the right level wherever they are. I'd like to say that we have successfully registered and accredited a number of TVET institutions and also universities. We've also registered a number of qualifications into the KNQF. We've been working in conjunction with universities, technical training institutes, and other education officials and institutions to sensitize Kenyans on the significance of harmony in education and training. We have a program that we call KNQA Mashinani. We decided to use that local name. We did it very deliberately because, you know, being a young institution, she did say that KNQA was established in 2015 via an act of 2014. And so you can see how recent KNQA came into being. But of course, we realize the huge mandate that we have. And so that cannot be achieved if the stakeholders do not realize and embrace what they are supposed to do. Because KNQA can only do so much. It is the institutions, it is yourselves as the implementers who are supposed to take up your role and do it. If you did not come to KNQA and seek accreditation, we would not be here today. We will not be having you registered in our framework or your qualifications registered in the framework. And so very deliberately, we have this program where we take this information to stakeholders. Probably you will hear us within Nairobi. We segment stakeholders are probably within your scope so that we talk to you more about KNQA and probably other programs that you do not know. So again, we are doing that to ensure that we embrace the public participation, which is a major pillar that is embraced in this country to ensure that everyone is privy to what the government is implementing. I wish to reiterate that we're working alongside the government institutions to advance and fulfill our mandate. I would like to single out a few. For instance, you're working with IEBC. We're also working with Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. We're working with DCI and also Directorate of Immigration Services. Probably someone would wonder, why am I talking about DCI and EACC? Not that we want to really put into light institutions that in most cases when you send to like DCI, there must be something that is probably unusual that you have done or you have. But of course we realize the critical role that we play that they play in ensuring that citizens do what is right. And so we thought it is also important, because we are privy to the issues of fake, forged and fraudulent certificates. And we know ourselves as citizens of this country, sometimes you can only speak so much and tell someone about authenticity of their certificate, but for them to really ensure that they adhere to what is required, we realize it is important to work collaboratively with other organizations that enforce what citizens should do, and that is why we're working with DCI and EACC among others, just to make sure that we are really able to flag out and to remove the certificates that are said to be fake. We want that to be a story of the past. We want to make sure that the certificates that we are issuing as learning institutions, they are authentic certificates and they are the only ones that are recognized in the market. We want to make sure that the employers are also not disadvantaged by people who are managing to use a loophole to present fake certificates. So we're working collaboratively even with the employers just to make sure that we address that menace. And so just to mention that we also have a campaign that we have called Cheti Mwitu, and the aim is to enable Kenyans to report cases of certificate forgery. And if you visit our website, you would be able to see further on that. Should you know anyone who has a fake certificate, but please don't talk of someone who you are just thinking it is. But we will make sure that we follow a rigorous process to check authenticity. But should you know, especially we talk to employers. We normally advise and encourage them to bring their certificates just so that we can check authenticity, just so that they can also be confident about the people that they have employed. And so with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to very, very sincerely congratulate the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute on being accredited and registered onto the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. And let us continue working together. Hongera sana, and thank you so much again for inviting us. God bless you all.
Wow.
Would you allow me to invite the chair, or do you want to say something? Sorry.
Just proceed.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my humble duty now, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our chair of the council, that is the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, chair of the council, Madam CPA Rosemary Njogu, to give us her remarks. Karibu sana, Madam Rosemary.
Thank you, DJ, for that very elaborate presentation. The governor, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Dr. Kimgetich Koril, chairperson of the board of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Mr. David Mungela, Secretary General, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Dr. Asha Mohamed, Deputy General, Kenya Red Cross, and Ms. Annette Msabeni, the Deputy General and Director, International Center for Humanitarian Affairs, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Mr. Idris Ahmed, Acting Director General, CEO Kenya, National Qualifications Authority, Alice Kande, Director General, and CEO Technical Vocational Education Training Authority, TVETA Representative, Principal, Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, Ms. Monica Orero, Ministry of Health officials, partner hospitals, staff of the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, and staff of Kenya National Qualifications Authority, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Our first stand here as a Kenyan, maybe representing the mass of Kenyans, to thank the Kenya Red Cross. We know how much you have been doing to this country. We really appreciate your efforts. We appreciate your humanitarian aid to us. We appreciate even you are our big brothers and a friend. So before I go do anything else, let me appreciate you as a Kenyan, that we appreciate you, and we want to continue with you. We also support you because you need us to give you information on what is happening around us so that you can come and assist the other Kenyans. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is with gratitude and honor that I witnessed the registration and accreditation of the Kenyan Red Cross Training Institute into the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. For the past decade, this institution has played an integral role in our country's medical field, saving thousands of lives and prioritizing medical aid for those desperately in need of medical attention. Having trained hundreds of doctors, nurses, paramedics, and occupational therapists, among other health practitioners, we acknowledge and appreciate the impact that this institution has had in safeguarding the health of millions of Kenyans. We recognize the tremendous work that you have done, not only in the country, but globally, as has been shown. I would like to convey greetings from KNQA. Let it be known that we are proud to be associated with you. We take the cognizance of your contribution during the most desperate times in our country's recent past, including the training you did in conjunction with the Ministry of Health for our medical professionals on how to handle COVID-19. That was a desperate period, and you stood with Kenyans, and we cannot thank you enough. We sincerely applaud you, keeping in mind that Kenya Red Cross Training Institute courses are designed to build the critical medical skills while incorporating the effective use of modern technology. The accreditation of your institution as a qualification awarding institution will bear significance in Kenya's emergency medical health care. And that has been shown by our DG and even the staff, your representatives who have spoken before me. They have said how much you have done and you continue to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to reiterate that this institution has heavily invested in state-of-the-art and technologically advanced equipment, which is commendable for any training institution. This can be confirmed by our officers who inspected the institution's facilities during an on-site visit, which is part of the procedure for accreditation of institutions. It is common to hear the phrase, "Mimi si Red Cross," but what that truly reflects is the selfless nature of your response towards other misfortunes and disasters. We are glad to support emergency health care and disaster management in our own way, and registering and accrediting this institution is our way of being part of saving the lives of millions of Kenyans. Honestly, how many of us would effectively perform their duties and functions in the absence of experts from the medical field? To combat pandemics, we need medical knowledge and expertise. To protect friends and families, we all know that we need health experts and the medical field in everyday life. Ladies and gentlemen, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. The Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda place great emphasis on the significance of universal health care. The Kenya Red Cross Training Institute has therefore an important role to facilitate linkage through education and training to aid emergency health care and other forms of disaster management. The big question is, how do we maximize skills in the medical field to the advantage of our nation? To answer this question, we must open our eyes to the possibilities before us. If we leverage on these skills and knowledge will narrow the enormous gap that we have in this country on matters of health and safety, thereby promoting better health for our people. These skills can also foster innovation and technological development in the medical field. How about using the skills to address challenges we have been dealing with for decades? And such challenges deal with cardiovascular diseases, malnutrition, giving opportunity to marginalized groups, and giving priority to people living with disability. We can use medical knowledge and skills to address multiple socio-economic challenges that we face as a country. In support of our mandate to register and accredit the qualification awarding institutions, today the Kenya National Qualifications Authority will be issuing a certificate of registration and accreditation to the Kenya Red Cross Training Institutes. Authority is working alongside other relevant government departments and institutions to realize the vision of the Kenya National Qualifications Framework Act of 2014 and to realize the noble objectives in the education sector. The KNQA will require support from other state agencies, the private sector, and special institutions such as our host today, the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. I would like to challenge all of us to bear the Red Cross in our lives, to be selfless and put humanity first. Once again, let me congratulate the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute for this great achievement. Thank you and stay safe.
Wow, thank you very much. Asante sana. We appreciate those remarks from KNQA, and history is just about to be made. And as we move to the next level of witnessing that history, kindly turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, thank you for being part of history. Yes, and as I welcome my co-MC, let's appreciate the two speakers with 3 lightnings. 1 lightning, 2, 3, welcome.
So good afternoon once again. Allow me to recognize a few of our partners and guests who've attended. I would love to recognize Ms. Bibiana Otieno, our board member, as well as Dr. Amina Guled, who's our board member, and Dr. Kibor Lele in absentia. I would also like to recognize from Emergency Plus Medical Services, the managing director, Ms. Susan Ngonga. Then from our hospital partners from Machakos County, Mr. Mutuku Cornelius, somewhere. From Bagathi Level 4 Hospital, Ms. Lynette Kinara. And then from Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, Dr. Emma. From the Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral and Research Hospital, Professor Wangari Mwai. From the Ministry of Health, Non-Communicable Diseases Department, Dr. Gladwell Gadesha. The Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health, Dr. Peter Maliti. From the Boma International Hospitality College, Mr. Adala George. Our Kenya Red Cross departmental heads, Finance, Ms. Susan Mwangi. Logistics, Mr. Dabaso. From Isha Policy, Miss, oh my God, I'm getting a brain freeze. I'm so sorry. Sarah, please say hi to everyone. I think I saw Miss Asha Mazrui from Audit as well. So as I was saying, I think you have heard numerous times that this was not an easy feat, and it should not have been possible if it wasn't for the people working behind the scenes. So I will say thank you once again to the KNQA team, and I would also like to invite the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute staff to please stand up wherever you are and just wave. That is the great team behind the institute. And as you can see, they are looking very dapper today. So without further ado, I would like now to proceed to the next part, which is welcoming Mr. James Tegeret to now award the Kenya Red Cross Training Institute certificate. So Daktari, karibu.
Thank you so much. All protocol observed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My task is very simple. Before I invite the owners of the certificate to present it to Kenya Red Cross, allow me just to say some few words. Although in government it's bad manners to talk after your seniors, but just let me say one or two things that pertains to the certificate that we are going to award. The certificate we are going to award will be valid for 4 years, after which you are supposed to seek for another accreditation from us. Another thing that we need to know is that we are going to issue you with 3 documents. Apart from the accreditation certificate, we shall also issue you with a list of qualifications that we are going to register in our database, and also we shall give you the terms and conditions that you are going to abide by after being accredited. Another issue that you need to know is that after this time, anytime you are going to have examinations, you are expected to give us your schedule so that we send our quality department to come and assess how you are giving out your examinations. Remember, during the process of accreditation, you gave us the process which you are going to follow, which we want you to abide by it, so that we ensure the qualifications that we are going to award are of quality. Another thing that we are going to issue you is a soft copy of Mark of Quality logo from KNQA. This Mark of Quality, you can use them in the certificates that you are going to award to your students after completing the course. And note that this Mark of Quality should only be used for the qualifications that you have registered, not any other. So we have only registered 2, and those are the qualifications that you can use that logo when you are awarding the certificates to your students. We are going to put also your name in our database and the 2 qualifications. So if you check in our website, you will see your name there and the qualifications that we have registered. At this juncture, I want to invite my seniors, the chair and the CEO, to award the certificate to Kenya Red Cross board and the principal. Maybe you need to come in front here, the team. The certificate. So we have one here for the ceremony, and the actual certificate is there. Okay, I'm advised we can come up here. Kenya Red Cross Board. So this is the climax of the whole event. So we are going to applaud when they are receiving the certificate. So 1, 2, 3, give them applause.
Well, we appreciate a round of applause. Those who can cheer, kindly cheer. The KRCTI staff, you can cheer and you release yourselves. Yeah.
Thank you so much, thank you so much. The real certificate is there. That's the real certificate now.
Yeah, we cheer, let's celebrate. Round of applause, those who can say, you can go ahead and say it, please. Wow. It's a true milestone. We appreciate so much. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, thank you. Before you leave the chair and the CEO, the list of qualifications. And then finally the terms.
We are expecting them to add more qualifications.
Okay.
I will celebrate. We celebrate. KRCTI team, is our time to celebrate the achievement.
And finally, the terms and conditions that you are going to abide by. And we shall request the principal to sign after this. So thank you so much. Thank you. Before the chair and the CEO sits down, there are some small gifts that we want to award to the guests. I don't know whether Ahmed Idris is there. Maybe we can start with the governor, who is already here. Principal. Vice Chair, asante sana. Board member, thank you so much. Minister of Health official, asante sana. The board chair, sorry. Thank you so much. The finance officer, Red Cross, Kenya Red Cross. The head of academic. Magdalene, where are you? This is a very important lady who really took us to task. She did not give us space to breathe. She really kept us on toes. Asante sana Magdalene. Tiveta representative Manzia. There is one more. Oh, it is, eh? Oh, maybe. So asanteni sana for that. Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you very much. I decided not to come down and get my speech and read it, so I'll just go with the flow. So mine is to do a vote of thanks. My name is Dr. Amina Guled. I'm one of the board members in Kenya Red Cross Training Institute. And on behalf of the Institute, thank you very much, KNQA, as opposed to say Kenya National Quality Authority. I'm taking your tip. Very good listening. On behalf of Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, we are very thankful for what you've done for us. It is amazing that you're linking the students to not just the local market, but international. There's a gap worldwide for pre-hospital care, and if we manage to get qualifications to go anywhere else in the country, kudos to us. And I think you're also responsible for me to be able to practice in Uganda and Tanzania. Thank you for that as well. On behalf of TVETA, thank you very much for making Kenya Red Cross Training Institute a service. In fact, it is the only one that trains pre-hospital services for healthcare workers. Thank you very much for that. I personally actually benefited as a student here, not just as a board, and I can tell the differences is a lot. For the Ministry of Health, thank you very much for the emergency policy. It makes big differences. As somebody who's worked in the emergency, I know time matters, and we are hoping we can actually get accreditation in the government centers for the people to actually be hired by the government, not by another code, but their actual code. On behalf of the Ministry of Education, thank you very much. It's the bigger body. Thank you very much for integrating healthcare industry and education industry, because the gaps are becoming shorter with time. And if we're having this accreditation and we're merging and we're understanding the importance of an educationist versus our industry and putting curriculum based with the structures, it goes a long way. And it's being seen and it's being felt. And I'm also going to say thanks on behalf of the common Mwananchi, because pre-hospital care in this country has a long way to go, and we are starting in the right direction because we're starting with structures and we're starting with order, and we are starting with accountability, because now with a database I can quickly check if this person is going to save my life or actually kill me, because it's quite important. Yeah, it's for our sector. Mistake in getting the wrong person can easily mean someone's life and people's life, and it's a mother or a father or anybody and everybody is important. So we need to have that, and thank you very much for making that possible. So thank you. I think I'm done with the speech. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Kenya Red Cross Training Institute, we are welcoming for a photo session, so that at least we can have an official photo for this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate her. Tafadhali. Thank you. So you will allow us just to slightly invite another guest who has just arrived, who is equally very important for this process. That is Dr. Mulwa from the Ministry of Health, representing the Principal Secretary, Ministry of Health. So karibu daktari, allow us to give him the chance to represent Principal Secretary, Ministry of Health. Welcome.
Thank you very much for the invite, and again, apologies for coming in late. Aware that we are actually a new administration, and His Excellency the President wants us to get it clear in what he wants to implement in the next 5 years towards attainment of universal healthcare coverage. So I was held up in a business with at State House, and I thought I was very late for the end, but thankfully I managed to be here. I am here on behalf of the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, responsible for medical services, Engineer Peter Toom, who has sent me with written speech. And now that I've come at the tail end of the event, and I have been sent to represent him, I am actually confused. Not sure whether to go through the speech, which is the business that has brought me here, or to just say the Ministry of Health works and recognizes the work that Red Cross has been doing in this country, and we want to congratulate you for the milestone that you are attaining today. And having said that, that is the summary of the speech of the Principal Secretary. But because there are representatives from the ministry and they may tell the PS that I summarize his speech, allow me to very quickly go through the speech. I am delighted to join you today in witnessing the awarding ceremony for accrediting Kenya Red Cross as a qualification awarding institution. Indeed, this is an important day for the pre-hospital care in Kenya, a major milestone in our drive to harmonize and strengthen emergency medical care training. The registration of the 2 training programs, Certificate in Advanced Emergency Medical Technician and Diploma in Paramedicine, culminates our long wait to having formalized accredited training program. A significant burden of death in Kenya is caused by time-sensitive illnesses and injuries such as severe newborn infections, exacerbations of non-communicable diseases, food poisoning, intentional and accidental injuries, and postpartum bleeding. Though prevention is the core principle, these life-threatening emergencies will continue to occur and increase in the foreseeable future. Immediate or urgent medical interventions are necessary to prevent needless death or disability due to these critical time-sensitive injuries and illnesses. Emergency care systems are an essential part of health service delivery. Well-designed emergency care facilities facilitates the timely recognition, treatment when needed, and continued treatment of acute ill people at the appropriate level of health system. Though most primary care initiatives are characterized by a focus on longitudinal and preventive care, many people seek care only when acutely ill or injured, especially when there are logistical or financial barriers. The government of Kenya, through the Constitution of Kenya 2010, created an enabling environment that requires that no person should be denied emergency medical care and its components, and this is further emphasized in the Health Act. The Emergency Care 2020-2030, as well as the Emergency Medical Strategic Plan 2020-2025, further emphasizes this. Both documents envision efficient and responsive emergency care services accessible to all. Emergency medical care policy priorities are to strengthen integration and coordination and ensure quality service delivery, human resource capacity advancement, innovation, financing, and management, and research, and strengthen leadership and governance. As we move forward, I'm about to conclude. We know that emergencies will continue to evolve, and the healthcare community must continue to deliver high-quality care to all patients. Our approach should continue to be comprehensive, focused on saving lives and protecting the poor and the vulnerable. Accreditation is an important process of continuous improvement that involves undergoing a thorough evaluation that focuses on quality standards that help to strengthen service delivery. The mandate of this newly accredited institution will enable Kenya to move closer to the vision of providing universal emergency care to all. Your collaboration and contribution is key to making this happen. It is key to ensure that persons being trained in these 2 courses, Advanced Emergency Medical Technician and Diploma in Paramedicine, receive quality education. And equally important is that practical skills are imparted in line with our local settings. In this regard, I urge Kenya Red Cross to continuously evaluate and improve these 2 programs. Ultimately, this will make the difference when graduates begin working and is key to life-saving interventions. Finally, I am convinced that this newly accreditation offers an opportunity for stakeholders in emergency care to share their experience and learn from each other, identify best practices, and I believe that multi-level and multi-dimensional cooperation and collaboration will make our work more efficient and effective. enabling more people to benefit mutually and help us bridge the gaps currently existing in the pre-hospital care. The Ministry of Health attaches great importance to achieving synergies and maintaining holistic approach to emergency care. We therefore welcome this milestone that aims to see how best to bridge the human capacity gap. To that end, the Ministry looks forward to closer collaboration between the Kenya Red Cross and the county governments, who will be major beneficiaries of these two trainings. The Ministry of Health stands ready to support building further synergies as well as creating demand for the programs. As I conclude, I urge all stakeholders to make full use of this resource to have a workforce that has quality knowledge and skill which are internationally recognized. I would like to once again recognize and appreciate the important role played by emergency medical care stakeholders in the pre-hospital care in the country. Finally, the Ministry of Health congratulates Red Cross on this momentous occasion during this accreditation ceremony. We wish this institution great success in the country and beyond, and look forward to a fruitful partnership. That is the official business for on behalf of our Principal Secretary, Engineer Peter Tu. Asanteni, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Mulo, for attending. Thank you so much. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the tremendous event. We have seen that the milestone we have achieved is not an easy feat, but we are happy and pleased that we have seen today. So at this juncture, I would like to state that we are able to close the event. At this point, we'll have media interviews done by Standard Media, as well as Switch TV, and we'll proceed for lunch. Our ushers will guide you to where. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for gracing the event.
Thank you very much, my very able co-MC. We thank you very much for attending this event. And as we proceed for lunch, one more thing remaining, a photo session. And like we have been requested, please, the KNQA staff, the TVETA staff, and the KRCTI staff, please, you are called upon here on the stage for that wonderful photo for future. Karibuni. Please, all staff KRCTI, KNQA, please, and TVETA, karibuni, on stage. Somebody had our certificate, I think Geoffrey, please come with the certificates. Both the ceremonial and the actual, kindly. Thank you. Mr. Morris, please take charge and organize us. The CEO and the DG, the chair of KNQA, karibuni tafadhali, the entire KNQA staff, our governor, Kenya Red Cross, karibu.